protest, the government is pulling all stops to defend its ministers in the dock.
If the chair allows, we can discuss later.
Though Ramashankar Kathiria has denied making any inflammatory statement, Congress and other opposition parties wants him to be charged with sedition. This incident has further added to woes of the government in the budget session of the parliament. With camera person Ashwani, Brijesh Pandey for India Today.
So what can be done to rein in hate speech? Is this a minister who also, in a sense, is guilty of having violated the law of the land? How long will this hate speech continue? Dushyant Dave, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, joining me. Abhishek Manu Singhvi of the Congress joining me. Asauddin Owaisi, MP and President of the AIMIM is with us. And also Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson of the BJP. My immediate question to you, Mr. Zafar Islam, before I go to anyone else, how many ministers are going to be caught on tape and each time will deny that this is hate speech? We had last time, if you remember, a year ago, Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti speaking about Ramzadeh and Haramzadeh. And today we've had, and we've got it now on tape. I have not played out the entire tape because we believe it should not be put out in the public domain, the words that were used. But the fact is, a minister of yours is using the most awful language against the minorities. How can this be excused? Can such a person remain a minister for hate speech?
Rajdeep, first of all, I must ask the Asauddin Owaisi, who actually specializes in hate speech, and the Congress spokesperson who the Congress party believes in divisive politics. Unlike these two parties, our party have an agenda of development,
sir,
and then we are only resorting to...
I will come to the Congress and Mr. Owaisi.
No, I'm saying that
your minister has been caught on tape today using the most awful hate language. Let's talk about him.
Okay,
why is nobody condemning today what Mr. Kathiria has said? Why is there no condemnation?
No, Rajdeep, first of all, that he is not targeting any particular community. It's an instant reaction based on the facts and figures he has seen. And having said that, I must tell you that our senior leadership has already taken note of this and has distanced it from his statement and said this is not his party's stand. Having said that, one more thing I would like to ask you, that such hate speech is not our cup of tea. We always have pursued...
Say that in TV studios. No. Sir, you say that in TV studios and this then goes on in Agra. Agra is not too far away from Delhi. So one thing is said in Delhi and another thing is said in Agra. I mean, let's be clear. Why am I not getting an outright condemnation? Why are such people being allowed to remain in government? They are spoiling the image of Narendra Modi's government by resorting to such speeches.
Rajdeep, we must tell you that any party members who actually has crossed the Lakshman Rekha have been given message and reprimanded. But you must see that who is the other party who provocating all the time. It's likes of Asauddin Owaisi and his brother. See, they are the senior leaders of the party and they always resort to hate speech. Unlike our structure where you have a senior leadership who actually can reprimand the party workers.
Not been reprimanded. Mr. Kathiria has not been reprimanded. That is the truth. The Mr. Kathiria perhaps will today believe he's done the right thing. Because I have not heard a single BJP MP since this story has broken in the last 24 hours reprimanding your minister for the kind of language he has used. I mean, that is the problem. They are getting away each time. The same thing happened with Sadhvi Niranjan.
Rajdeep, have you ever heard this? If you can, just want to take back to 2013-14 when Imran Masood had made a statement against Honorable Prime Minister at that time. What was the reaction of Rahul Gandhi at that time? He supported it. He never condemned. He was actually, he went for his election campaign. What about this, the Sajjan Kumar, who actually resorted to hate speech in Delhi in 1984? Likes of
Sir, one wrong doesn't justify another. And our campaign is India above hate. On India Today, we want all hate speech, Congress, BJP to be stopped. It is not about BJP or Congress. I want to know a union minister, should he be in the government when he resorts to this hate speech? But I've heard you don't seem to want to, in a sense, outrightly condemn your minister. But I want Abhishek Manu Singhvi to respond. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Do you concede that the Congress party today, which today wants to bring parliament, wants an adjournment motion on this issue, in the past, your party has been equally guilty? Imran Masood's example is being given, where in the lead up to the elections, if you remember, he had used the kind of language against our Prime Minister which was unacceptable, and Rahul Gandhi went and campaigned for him. So, is all fair in politics? And in this case, a VHP worker was murdered in Agra. So the minister is claiming that he was responding to the Hatyare, the people responsible for the murder of the VHP leader. He was not inciting a particular community.
Rajdeep, I think you need to bring some sanity and calm to this debate.
Yes.
This happened more than 2 days ago. I was one of the first to tweet about it. It is such a bad speech that I am agreeing with you 100% that you did the right thing not to show it. It doesn't require rocket science, it doesn't require anything to show that it's a rabid, provocative, divisive speech, the minimum of which is a 153A charge of creating enmity between communities.
But he is saying it is against the backdrop of the murder of a VHP worker in Agra. And he used the word Hatyare, he did not refer to a community.
Can I complete?
Yes.
Can I complete?
Yes.
Now, you are forcing me to say partly what is in the speech. He is referring to a community, specifically by name. He is saying that for one death, take 100 heads or 10 heads. He is talking of killing. He is talking of religious divide. But that's not the point. You are here talking of a union minister. And this is in a continuation of a litany from the Sakshi Maharajas, Sadhvi Jyotis, the Singhals, endless. Each time the pattern and the paradigm is similar. Constitutional authority, remember, this gentleman who's a minister was flanked by a BJP MLA, the local BJP party boss and several BJP leaders. A, this happens for the last 2 years continuously every week. B, it is met with eloquent silence by the Prime Minister. C, do you think, Rajdeep, that if there was condemnation, and the word is condemnation, not mild reproach and noises which you make in the BJP party, do you think if there was condemnation from the twin authorities of the Prime Minister and the remote control
How is it different? How is it different from Mr. Imran Masood? How is it different from Mr. Imran Masood, your candidate, who in 2014 had used similar language against the Prime Minister?
It's laughable. It's laughable because A, as you said, two wrongs don't nowhere make a right, but more importantly, Imran Masood was ostracized. The speech and the campaign which Mr. Rahul Gandhi went for was much later, a totally different campaign. He was condemned. I myself took the briefing where we condemned his statement. Condemned. The party at the highest level condemned it. And let me tell you, these are people who are repeatedly doing it because it suits the BJP to play good cop, bad cop, to play mild criticism along with a saintly face. But what is the bottom of it? The bottom of it is this whole philosophy of fundamentally intolerant approach.
Can I just a minute. Dr. Singhvi, Dr. Singhvi, 1 minute. Asauddin Owaisi, I want to get your perspective because I heard your name 4 times being made by the BJP spokesperson today, saying Asauddin Owaisi and his brother are responsible for this kind of invective as well. How do you respond to those who will say when it comes to hate speech, the BJP's argument is that when a Hindu leader targets allegedly the minorities, they are immediately caught up and we have television programs on it. What about the Owaisi brothers? How do you respond to this?
Rajdeep, let me start to the satisfaction of both Congress and BJP that in last 25 years all the hate speeches have been made by me. These two parties are paragon of virtue and beacon of freedom of expression. My simple question to the BJP spokesperson is, your MOS minister talked about the Hindu Samaj. I condemn that murder, but I would like to know from him with all the humility I have, he might, he might not accept this, but please tell the nation that more than 20 Hindus were killed in Haryana. Where was this anger for the Hindu Samaj? Because I concede that every Hindu living on the face of the earth owes allegiance to the BJP, RSS. But why was this anger not shown? When the Hindus were murdered, when the women were molested and raped, why wasn't such a speech given in the streets of Haryana or Rohtak? Where is your love for the Hindu Samaj? You know, you can talk about me endlessly. I concede. I am the biggest
No, forget the sarcasm today. Mr. Owaisi ji, my point is whether you're a Hindu leader or a Muslim leader, the time has come to stop all hate speeches.
This is not.
No one should be appealing, no one should be spreading enmity among communities. That is exactly what the Constitution says. Section 153A needs to be applied, whether it is a Hindu leader or a Muslim leader.
Rajdeep,
no, you're not allowing me to say. That is the problem. The anchor wants to give his opinion, and the guest should sit quiet and listen to the the sermons of anchor. So that is why it is impossible to come on TV channels and put forward your viewpoint.
No, please go ahead.
Now,
go ahead.
My simple question over here is that 295, 153A, please show me in last 6 years, these two sections have been imposed on whom? How many have been arrested? Please show me. Apart from Muslims, this section has been used only on Muslims. 295A, 153A. Show me other leaders. You know, I might sound very communal, so be it. But if I have to say the truth is this. When the whole world has seen a minister who has violated his oath that he will not speak in terms of Hindu or Muslim, maybe I am the most communal man, but for God's sake, you are the minister representing Government of India, which you call Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Where is the religion over here? Does India has a religion? No. India celebrates every religion. So how is the minister talking about the Hindu Samaj? He should have said, I condemn that murder. We want strict action to be taken against those alleged killers. You know, they should be given the full punishment of law. But here you have a minister holding a constitutional post and uttering utter nonsense.
Can I bring in Dushyant Dave? Because Dushyant Dave, there is something in what Mr. Owaisi is saying. I have seen in the last 6 years, Mr. Owaisi's brother, for example, Akbaruddin, has spent some time in jail. But I have seen, for example, that Praveen Togadia has not spent any time in this period in jail for hate speeches. Now, how are we to make a distinction based on the community that an individual belongs to? If a minister in the government of India is going to Agra and talking about Hindu Samaj and saying that for one person killed, 100 from the other community must be killed, can such a person be charged under section 153A? Can he remain a minister, Mr. Dave, under the law of the land?
Well, he can't, certainly can't, because this is really unacceptable. But before I go into the law, there is something that I would like to remind the Honourable Minister, the Bharatiya Janata Party and its spokesperson, and this is the manifesto of BJP in 2014 election, and this is what they said on minorities, equal opportunity, and it's very important for every BJP member to remember what it had promised the nation. BJP believes that in India's unity in diversity lies India's biggest strength. We cherish the depth and vibrancy that the diversity in Indian society adds to the nation. BJP is thus committed to the preservation of rich culture and heritage of India's minority communities alongside their social and economic empowerment. BJP promises to ensure a peaceful and secure environment where there is no place for either the perpetrators or exploiters of fear. Now this manifesto is what has brought BJP into power. I would really like the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and the BJP leadership to really introspect that this kind of a nonsense must be stopped. It does not really do well for the country. There are 200 million Muslims in this country. I do not agree with Mr. Owaisi's statements most times. And I think by making these kind of statements, the minister is likely to produce large number of people who will support likes of Mr. Owaisi, which is going to be unfortunate for India. We don't want sectarian violence. We are heading for sectarian violence thanks to, you know, the hardliners in the BJP and hardliners in the Muslim community.
But I want to know, why is the law, why can the law not be used in a manner that any leader who is guilty of hate speech, whether Hindu or Muslim, you lock him up. And you know, is that not possible? Why is that not possible?
Rajdeep, Rajdeep, the law must apply equally to all. I have no doubt that the statement of the minister is such that it must, or for that matter, Mr. Praveen Togadia or Sadhvi that you talked about, these are the statements which should really invite, appropriate action from the police. But we are unfortunately a majoritarian state where majority can get away with murder and the minorities have to pay the price. You are seeing in JNU, for example, that young boy is being charged with sedition, but nobody is going to be charged with sedition when they make this kind of hateful statements. So unfortunately we have reached a stage, Rajdeep, where there are double standards in our public life. Unfortunately, those in governance, particularly the politicians, the bureaucrats, the police, and I regret to say, even the judges really overlook this kind of a nonsensical approach on the parts of some kind of extremist, forces on both sides.
Just a minute, Dushyant. Can I get 30 seconds from each of you, starting with you, Mr. Zafar Islam? Are you on this program going to condemn this minister or not? He's a union minister in this government. If Narendra Modi's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is to be taken seriously, such people cannot be in government who are going to Agra and making these kind of statements in public rallies. Why aren't you outrightly condemning it? Why do I see silence? Why do I see unwillingness to condemn it in an outright manner? Why is such a person not sacked?
Rajdeep, one of our senior leader and the Honorable Minister has already stated about it. He said that it's individual capacity he has made this statement.
What individual capacity? He's taken an oath to the Constitution of India. He's a minister in the government of India.
And he's not, as you made out to be, but he is not referring to any particular community. Of course, it's an instant reaction of a murder which may happen with anybody because he's
a minister.
He is an individual as well.
Sir, he's not a thug on the road. He's a minister. This is not about... No, sir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That cannot be an excuse. That this is a highly emotional... I want to know from all of you, Asauddin Owaisi, are you willing to give a guarantee, because your brother in the past has been in particular guilty of this, that if he is found guilty anymore of any hate speech, you will be the first to condemn him and say put him in jail? Are you willing to say that today on the program, Mr. Owaisi?
First of all, my brother has not been found guilty by the courts of law.
Okay.
And I have restated many times to you in your capacity,
he's been
whenever
charged.
You have called me, that the courts will do justice.
Yes.
My question over here is that what Mr. Dave has said, I totally agree with him, that 153A or 295A will never be imposed on anyone from the majority community. Take the 1984...
Well, that's not entirely true.
Rights.
Last month an individual called Kamlesh Tiwari was in jail under it.
No,
that's not entirely true.
Kamlesh Tiwari was put. Why? Because you had thousands of Muslims who had come out on street, and the government had to do. But why not over here? Why is the Samajwadi Party playing a hide-and-seek game? Why is the Samajwadi Party promoting BJP and the RSS in UP? It clearly shows the connivance of the state government along with BJP. But the important point is that 153A, 295A, the investigative agencies, the governments will never impose it on anyone who subscribes to a communal ideology.
Let me ask you this, Abhishek Manu Singhvi. When you were also your party in government, is there a distinction under, you're an eminent lawyer, why is there a distinction when it comes to 153A depending on the religious community of the individual? And can 153A be used in a manner that people remain in jail for extended periods for hate speech? Or is it something where which is eminently bailable? So there is no fear of the law. Final word from you, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, because today a minister has been caught on tape. Next, I don't know who will be involved in this, because there seems to be no fear of the law.
Rajdeep, it cannot be gainsaid that neither 153A or for that matter any provision of law, howsoever minor, can be applied duplicitously or in a discriminatory fashion. I think it is only to be stated to be rejected. Secondly, I have been on record for many years that 153A should be made much more stringent. It is in fact a provision which is capable of being made much more stringent. In fact, the kind of speeches you are having was one of the reasons for the communal violence bill. Now, I can understand that the communal violence bill, which was tried to be implemented by us, had some infirmities, legal questions. But certainly it was a case of throwing the baby out with the bathwater when a whole issue was built up against it and it could not be passed. It is these situations, if you have to see that tape again, as I said, there is no doubt in anybody's mind, and it is laughable to suggest that I can say these things about taking 10 heads for one in my individual capacity as a private citizen.
I concede that point. Today,
apart from the fact that you can't divorce these two causality, it's a laughable point.
Sir, I only
that
hope
I can not, as a minister, but otherwise say this.
Sir, I only hope the day has come in this country where whether you are Congress, BJP, MIM, any party, Shiv Sena, if you resort to hate speech promoting enmity between communities, you must be put behind bars and it must become frankly non-bailable. That's the only way. If there is a fear of the law equally applied, will ministers of the government, forget about other individuals, stop making hate speeches. This minister, the Prime Minister, once again must take action against this minister. Mr. Katiria has violated his oath to the Constitution, is what we are saying today here on the program. I appreciate your joining us on our top talking point here on the news today. Coming up next, a day after the union budget, is the government going to roll back the tax of 60% of employment